Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswate Deve Gurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatadeshana. So this last section that we discussed from verse number 35, how Krishna reciprocates with the queens of Dwarika and how they exchange their feelings, how they express their feelings. I'm just recapping from the 35th verse. So it is being said by Shuddha Goswami that Saisha Narloke Asmin Avatirna Swamayaya Reme Strirat Utastha Bhagavan Prakato Yata. So how Krishna was quoting with her queens is very exceptional here. So Srila Sudha Goswami says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna out of his causeless mercy appeared on this planet by his internal potency. That is, we discussed also Abdina Swamaya. He comes by his internal potency. What was the verse corresponding to this Swamaya in Bhagavad Gita? Sambhavami Atmaya. Sambhavami Atmaya or Avdina Swamaya. And what he does when he descends by his internal energy? Reme. Reme means that he takes pleasure. He enjoys. What? Tri Ratna Kutastha. Stri Ratna. He is the Ratna of all these trees. He is the jewel amongst all the men for the ladies to be attracted to. So here, Shukdev Goswami says, Sudha Goswami says that, and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaged in the mundane affair. I was attracted by the word Prakarto Yata. Prakarto is like as if it was a mundane affair. He was enjoying with his queens. And the next verse is even more mystical. It says, Udama Bhava Pishunmala Valgu Hasa Vrindaval Valako Nihata Madano Api Ashama Sammuha Chapam Ajahar Pramodattamasta Yasya Indriyam Vimathetum Uhake Nasukhe. That although the queen's beautiful smiles and fruitive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow and arrow in frustration. This is about the queens and their extraordinary feminine beauty that they were manifesting. So yes, Sudha Goswami is saying that although they could conquer Cupid himself and make him become frustrated by making him give up his bow and arrow, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still despite of their all magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. It's very important. Yes, Indriyayam Vimahitam Kukare Nasuke. The senses of the Lord were never agitated or disturbed, even after the magical beauty of all these queens of Dwarka. Did we discuss this verse? I don't think we discussed. Okay. So the path of salvation or the path going back to Godhead always forbids the association of women. And the complete Sanatana Dharma or Varnashram Dharma scheme forbids or restricts association with women. How then can one be accepted as a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is erected to more than 16,000 wives? Prabhupada is asking this question. This question may be relevantly raised by inquisitive persons really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. Please note Prabhupada's words. Prabhupada is saying this question may be relevantly raised and not by ordinary persons, by inquisitive persons who are really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. And to answer such questions, the sages of Naimisharyan have discussed the transcendental character of the Lord in this verse and the following verses. It is clear herein that the feminine attractive features can conquer Cupid or even the supermost tolerant Lord Shiva could not conquer the senses of the Lord. Cupid's business is to invoke mundane lust. The whole universe is moving due to being agitated by Cupid's arrow. The activities of the world are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and a female is looking after a suitable male. That is the way of material stimulus. And as soon as the male is combined with a female, the material bondage of the living being is at once tightly interlocked by the sex relation. And as a result of this, both the male and the female's attraction for the illusionary field of activity known as sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society, friendship, and accumulation of wealth increases. Thus, a false but indefatigable attraction for the contemporary material existence, which is full of miseries, is manifest. So Prabhupada is giving the full diagnosis, step by step, how it happens and who gets trapped and where. Therefore, those who are on the path of salvation for going back home, back to Godhead, are specially advised by all spiritual instructions. Become free from such paraphernalia of material attraction. And that is possible only by the association of the devotees of the Lord, who are called the Mahatmas. Cupid throws his arrows upon the living beings to make them mad after the opposite sex. Whether the party is actually beautiful or not, Cupid's provocation are going on even among beastly societies, who are all ugly looking in the estimation of civilized nations. Thus, Cupid's influence is exerted even amongst the ugliest forms, and what to speak of the most perfect beauties. Lord Shiva, who is considered to be the most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrow when he became mad after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord. And he acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddess of fortune. And he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in a spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna. Yet, they could not disturb the transcendental senses of the Lord. This is because the Lord is all perfect and thus Atmanam, or self-sufficient. He does not require anyone's extraneous help for his personal satisfaction. Therefore, the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness. Very important. That the queen could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. Only by unalloyed transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. Thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming a husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone. But to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental And the grave dealings which the queens displayed his natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. It is already explained in the previous verse that the Lord appeared like a mundane husband, but actually his relation with his wives was transcendental, pure, and unconditioned by the appeared mode of nature. Kamayam manyate loko hiya sangam api sangina atma upam atma upame na manju man manujam yapranvanam yata abudha. The common materialistic conditioned soul speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. The word abuddha, see, the last word is abuddha. The common materialistic conditioned soul speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. The word abuddha is significant here. Due to ignorance only, the foolish mundane wranglers misunderstand the Supreme Lord and spread their foolish imaginations amongst innocent persons by propaganda. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the original primeval personality of Godhead. Just a minute. So here it's being glorified. We see the glories of the Lord and how he is unaffected, how he is transcendental. And those people who consider him to be like them, they are all, as Prabhupada says, less intelligent. The word here is abuddha. Buddha. Krishna says, Buddha man saman Buddha. Those who are Buddha, they know him. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma Buddha bhava saman Buddha. But here it is a Buddha who is not intelligent. Prabhupada is saying, due to ignorance, only such foolish mundane wranglers misunderstand the Supreme Lord and spread their foolish imagination among the innocent people by propaganda. The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is the original primeval personality of Godhead. And when he was personally present before the eyes of everyone, he displays full-fledged divine potency in every field of activity. As we have already explained in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, he is completely independent to act however he likes. But all his actions are full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Only the foolish mundaners misunderstand him, unaware of the eternal form of knowledge and bliss, which is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. His different potencies were in a perfect plan of natural sequence. And thus he does everything by the agency of his potencies while remaining eternally in the supreme independent. When he descends to the material world by the causeless mercy upon different living beings, he does so by his own potency. He is not subject to any condition of the material modes of nature, and he descends as he is originally. The mental speculators misunderstand his position as the supreme person, and they consider his impersonal creature as inexplicable Brahman to be supreme. Such a conception is also a product of conditioned life because they cannot go beyond their own mental personal capacity. Therefore, one who considers the Lord on the level of one's limited potency is only a common man. Such a man cannot be convinced that the personality of Godhead is always unaffected by the modes of material nature, just as the sun is always unaffected by infectious matter. The mental speculators compare everything from the standpoint of experimental knowledge of their own selves. When the Lord is found to act like an ordinary person in matrimonial bondage, they consider him to be like one of them. Even without considering the Lord can at once marry 16,000 wives abroad. Due to poor fund of knowledge, they accept one side of the picture while disbelieving the other. This means that due to ignorance only, they always think of Lord Krishna as becoming their is like being themselves and make their own conclusions, which are absurd and unauthentic according to the version of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the character of Krishna is being described, the glorious character. Etad ishanam ishasya prakatisto api tadgune na yujyate sadatmanaste na yujyate sadatmaste yatha buddhi tadashraya. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. In the Vedas and okay, there is only one more verse. Okay, so I will try to complete this chapter. In the Vedas and the Vedic literature, Shruti and Smriti, it is affirmed that in the divinity there is no influence of the material books. He is simply the transcendental Nirguna witness and supreme cognizant, Hari, or the personality of Godhead. He is the supreme transcendental person situated beyond the range of material affection. These statements are confirmed even by Acharya Shankara. See footnote Srimad Bhagavatam 1918. One may argue that although his relation with the goddess of fortune may be transcendental, what about his relation with the Yadu dynasty, being born in the family, or his killing the non-believers like Jarasandha and other asuras, directly in contact with the modes of material nature? The answer is given here. The divinity of the personality of Godhead is that he is never in contact with the qualities of material nature in any circumstances. Actually, he is in contact with such qualities because he is the ultimate source of everything. Yet he is above the actions of such qualities. He is known therefore as Yogeshwara, the master of the mystic power, or in other words, the all-powerful. So this is being inquired that how his relationship remains unaffected, how he is not affected by the modes. Even in his learned devotees are not affected by the influence of material modes. The great six Goswamis of Vrindavan all came from these rich and aristocratic families. When they adopted the life of mendicant at Vrindavan, superficially they appear to be just conditions of life. But actually, they were the richest of all in spiritual values. Such Mahabhagavatas or first class devotees, although moving amongst men, are not contaminated by honor and hunger or self-love. Sleep or wakefulness, which are all resultant actions of the three modes of material nature. Similarly, a Mahabhagavatas are engaged in the worldly dealings, yet are unaffected. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in transit. The divinity and his associates are on the same transcendental plane, and their glories are always sanctified by the action of Yogamaya or the internal potency of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, also known, the devotees of the Lord are always transcendental, even if they are sometimes found to have fallen in their behavior. The Lord emphatically declares in the Bhagavad Gita 9:30, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvatam Shanti Nigat. Oh, this is Apichet Sudhara. Apichet Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Manandabha Sadhureva Mantavya Samyak Vyavastito. That even if unallowed devotee is found to be fallen due to his previous material contamination, he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his life being engaged 100% in the devotional service of the Lord. The Lord protects him always because of his unending service unto him. And the fallen condition are to be considered accidental and temporary. They will vanish in time. So this is the last verse of this chapter, and it will be completed today. Tammener bala muda strena chanuvratam raha aparmana vidobhratu ishwaram matayo yatha. This simple and the delicate woman truly thought that Lord Sri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent to the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware, of him as the supreme controller. So all these philosophical points are given to glorify Krishna and his pure devotees, especially the residents of Dwarika. Even the transcendental wives of Lord Sri Krishna did not know completely the unfathomable glories of the Lord. This ignorance is not mundane because there is some action of the internal potency of the Lord in the exchange of feelings between him and his eternal associates. The Lord exchanges transcendental relations 5 ways: as proprietor, master, friend, son, and lover, and each of these pastimes. We know that 5 kind of rasa is there, primarily 5, and secondly 7. And with the cowherd boy, or even with friends like Arjuna, he is placed exactly like the son of in the presence of Yashoda Mata. He plays exactly like a lover in the presence of the cowherd, and he plays exactly like a husband in the presence of the queens of Dwarka. Such devotees of the Lord never think of the Lord as the supreme, but think of him exactly as a common friend. This is very intimate friendship, as pet son or as lover or husband, very much dear to the heart and soul. That is the relation between the Lord and his transcendental devotees, who acts as his associates in the spiritual sky, where there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets. When the Lord descends, he does so along with his entourage to display the complete picture of the transcendental world. Such pure love and devotion for the Lord prevails without any mundane tinge of lording it over the creation of the Lord. Such devotees of the Lord are liberated souls, perfect representatives of the marginal or internal potency, in complete negation of the influence of the external potency. The wives of Lord Krishna were made to forget the innumerable glories of the Lord by the internal potency, so that there might not be any flaw of it. And they took it for granted that the Lord was a hand-packed husband, always following them in lonely places. In other words, even the personal associates of the Lord do not know him perfectly well. What to do, the thesis writer or mental speculators know about the transcendental glories of the Lord. The mental speculators present different theories, different theses as to his becoming the cause of the creation. But all this is but partial knowledge about the Lord. Actually, they are as ignorant as the common man. The Lord can be known only by the mercies of the Lord only, and by no other means. But since the dealing of the Lord and his wives are based on pure transcendental love and devotion, the wives are also the wives are on the transcendental plane without contamination. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the first canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, titled Lord Krishna entered into Dwarka. Tomorrow you can begin the birth of Emperor Parikshit. Hare Krishna. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, उपस्थित सभी भक्तजन की जय, हरे हरे।